debating a data center northeast of Calgary.
My farm is going to be smack dab in between this development and the development existing at Balzac already.
This is an important project for Rocky View County and for Alberta to be part of.
Why farmers are so against this massive new proposal. Plus, disabled on social media, seemingly without reason.
Instagram's kind of like my resume now, and all my contacts were on there as well.
4 months later, still no answers, but a big blow to his business. And happy birthday to us, 65 years of CFCN.
Anything important that was going on, it was either coming through the station or you were in on it.
I'm glad to see that we're still there plugging away.
Some original and longtime employees help us celebrate.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. A proposed data center complex spanning hundreds of acres northeast of Calgary is causing some heated debate. People packed a special council meeting in Rocky View County today, and those for and against the massive project made their arguments. Jacqueline Wilson reports.
I am definitely opposed.
Christina Thomas lives nearby a 450-hectare section of agricultural land that's being eyed by Connecticut to develop a data center complex. It's east of Balzac near Highway 566 and Range Road 282 and has an adjacent electrical transmission line.
You're literally taking 1,120 acres of agricultural soil and randomly plopping in a data center / power plant, when there's so many more places that this could be put that's properly zoned for, like over in Balzac.
Thomas was among the crowd anxious to speak to Rockview Council on Tuesday. About 90% had concerns or were in opposition.
My farm is going to be smack dab in between this development and the development existing at Balzac already. We've already had our share of developer problems with dirt dumping, with water well issues, with water runoff and pumping illegally onto our land from reservoirs that weren't made big enough from these projects.
What they're doing is essentially taking 6/4 sections of rainfall and dumping it on one. So the chances of water running and spoiling other people's property around it are very, very high.
Data centers provide infrastructure to support web applications, cloud computing, and data needs.
That we fill the system once, and that water continues to recirculate.
E-Structure, Canada's largest data center operator, plans to be part of phase 1 of the proposed project. They have 3 other data centers in Calgary and Rocky View.
We build extremely sustainable and quiet sites, and we expect that this site will support our development needs to bring Rocky View and Alberta into the digital future.
This is an important project for Rocky View County and for Alberta to be part of the growing AI infrastructure that's taking place.
And Jackie joins us from Rocky View County tonight. Okay, Jackie, when will a decision be made?
It's very exciting here, Tara. So over 50 speakers and videos were submitted today to be heard. Those are now complete. They just finished up, and Connecticut is now speaking in front of this special council and everyone who is in there packed right now. Council next will vote on the future of that data center, but we aren't sure when that is going to happen and if it's going to happen tonight. What I do know is that prior to today, administration actually recommended to approve this proposal. So, of course, we will have the very latest online as well as at 11 o'clock. For now, Tara, back to you.
Okay, Jackie, thank you. Photo radar is returning to another Calgary intersection to help reduce crashes in high-risk areas. The intersection at 16th Avenue and 10th Street Northwest is the 3rd intersection to have a camera restored. That's near State, and the camera will be operating as of October 6th. 2 weeks ago, 20-year-old Arjun Singh Gill died when his motorcycle crashed into an SUV there. Police say he was traveling at a high rate of speed. So far this year, there have been 25 fatal collisions in Calgary, including 5 deadly motorcycle crashes. 2 other intersections were previously approved: 16th Avenue at 68th Street Northeast and at Highway 1A at 12 Mile Coulee Road.
So these particular locations that we have approval to turn back on, we have seen collisions there. We've seen ridiculous speeds through those intersections, and it's pretty clear, and we have lots of feedback from our community that they're very dangerous intersections.
The province got rid of photo radar on provincial highways and connector routes on April 1st. It also eliminated speed on green cameras. Photo radar now is limited to school, playground, and construction zones. In Toronto, at least 16 speed cameras were damaged overnight in what one city councillor is calling coordinated vandalism. Ontario Premier Doug Ford is condemning the cameras. He calls them a tax grab and suggests they unfairly target drivers who are traveling over the speed limit by a marginal amount. Edmonton police are taking a stand against a plea deal in a murder case involving an 8-year-old girl. The girl was killed in an Edmonton apartment in 2023. Her body was later found in Masquachese in a hockey bag in the back of a pickup truck. A woman who can't be identified to protect the identity of the child was initially charged with first-degree murder. Police have since learned the Crown prosecuting the case intends to accept a plea of manslaughter and an 8-year prison sentence. Yesterday, Edmonton police sent a letter to the Assistant Deputy Justice Minister urging that the deal be taken off the table. In the letter, police say significant evidence was collected to support that first-degree murder charge. EPS says if that plea deal goes ahead tomorrow, it will release investigation details, allowing the public to decide for themselves if justice is being served. Fire broke out in a remote house in southwest Calgary today. Flames and smoke could be seen coming from the house in the new community of Alpine Park. Firefighters from Calgary and Cetina worked to put it out. There are no reports of injuries. Calgary firefighters gathered today to remember the 81 members who have died in the line of duty. The annual memorial honors those who have died either during active firefighting or due to illnesses related to firefighting. It also honors 4 firefighters who died fighting in the First World War. This year, 4 firefighters were added to the Police Officers and Firefighters Tribute Plaza. All 4 died of cancer acquired through occupational exposure. The fire chief says the day is not just for the firefighters who lost their lives, but for their families too.
This is I believe, the toughest loss is for the families. So, and we often don't think about that. You know, we focus on the names of the heroes, those who've made the ultimate sacrifice, but these folks have made what I consider to be an ultimate sacrifice as well.
Chief Dongwer says while there has been a lot of progress to improve safety for firefighters, it's a dangerous profession and it is important to remember the fallen.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
A University of Lethbridge professor has resigned from the school's Board of Governors over the province's new rules for female athletes. Anyone older than the age of 12 will now need to prove they were born female as part of the UCP government's revised Fairness and Safety in Sports Act. The province says the goal is to keep transgender girls and women out of female sports because of their potential physical advantage. Craig Coburn says he's taking a stand to protect the fundamental human rights of students, and he calls the mandate discriminatory.
While you can speak against things on the board, after the meeting is done, you're required to support any decision that's rendered, and I simply could not stand and support this decision. I feel it is wrong.
The U of L has implemented a policy in line with provincial guidelines on an interim basis until October 10th. This will allow the policy to be reviewed and then altered if need be. The Alberta government says it's going to fight a legal challenge to its school pronoun law. Justice Minister Mickey Amory's press secretary released a statement saying the province will vigorously defend its position in court. The statement says the legislation was introduced to strengthen ties between parents and their children's education, providing more transparency, clarity, and consistency. 2 LGBTQ+ groups officially filed a court challenge against the school pronoun law last week, asking the court to declare them unconstitutional. It is common and often crucial for businesses to stay active on social media. That's why a Calgary DJ is devastated after his Instagram account was disabled with no clear explanation why. Many users around the globe are facing the same issue, and they place blame on parent company Meta's use of artificial intelligence. Terry Fikowski explains.
Talon Doak is a DJ in Calgary and until recently shared his performances on Instagram.
I would say it's like the 2025 version of like a resume or a LinkedIn. So without it, it's kind of like you don't exist. because that's where people check first.
He racked up quite a following with more than 10,000 users and 1 million views a month. But that all disappeared when his account was disabled in April after it was flagged for violating the platform's community standards on child exploitation and nudity.
The only thing that I just posted before I went to sleep that morning was something about like DJing. It had nothing to do with like anything close to what they said. On my phone, it won't even let me log in.
Despite multiple efforts to appeal, he remains locked out 4 months later.
Summer is always like my busiest season, so like not having it, I missed DJing the Calgary Stampede. I missed like the festivals I did.
The issue is being linked to Meta's artificial intelligence monitoring system, which experts say is prone to mistakes.
If they are using AI for the sort of automated moderation and the AI is making mistakes, then Meta has the responsibility to ensure that users have a way to report these issues and have these issues addressed in a fair and equitable way.
More than 40,000 users agree, with a petition circulating calling on the social media giant to act. That includes Jesse Vetterall, a paramedic from Cochrane, who is fighting to have his personal account reinstated.
What was the reason? And just to be able to talk to someone human.
He also believes Meta should be accountable for flagging people for things like child abuse without any recourse.
It's not just about losing social media, it's about being labeled with something so harsh and devastating. I think it needs to be sorted out.
CTV did reach out to Meta for comment, but the company did not respond.
And Terry joins us from Modern Love downtown tonight. So Terry, what's the connection there?
Well, Tara, we've had several people reach out to the newsroom dealing with the same issue, and that includes Isis Graham. She is a woman who's very well known in the city's EDM industry, and she believes that, of course, it is her name that reads the same as the terrorist group, which is why Facebook and Instagram have disabled not only her personal accounts, but also the accounts that she runs for a number of community groups, and isn't really clear why this is happening now. So one of those groups includes Versions YYC, which throws these patio dance parties here at Modern Love every Tuesday, and they are doing that until the end of September, between May and September. And while they're expecting it to pick up a little bit more tonight, it's just getting underway. They say that since that account has been disabled, they haven't been able to promote their underground DJs, their lineups, upcoming artists, and have seen a real drop in attendance. So not only is Isis Graham hoping to have her account reinstated, they're also hoping to let people know just about a little bit of fun that you can have down here at Modern Love. Tara?
Okay, Terry Fikowski reporting. Terry, thank you. Let's bring Daniela now as we get our first peek of the weather. It was a beautiful, hot day today, but that leads to a few other things.
It does. We have the heat. We also have the instability. So thunderstorms are happening in and around the city right now. Non-severe. 24 degrees is the temperature out there right now. Winds are relatively calm. It's hazy out there. This cell that is just starting to die out, but it did come with a little bit of lightning headed towards and into the south end of the city. And then you can see a lot of thunderstorms happening out there right now, or at least some isolated showers. Quick little zoom in here, and you can see the cell that's just dying out, but still it's packing a bit of a punch with some rainfall, and that's going to track through parts of the city throughout this next half an hour. Clare's Home and Nanton, this cell is just dying out. A lot of this activity, thankfully, is dying out before it hits the QE2 or Highway 2. But we have the potential for thunderstorm activity up until 9 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow morning, starting the day off at 13 degrees, and the air quality will improve throughout the day tomorrow. We'll be down to low risk on the Air Quality Health Index by late tomorrow with a high of 24. Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. 65 years ago today, John Diefenbaker was Prime Minister. Ernest Manning was Alberta's premier. Elvis Presley topped the charts, and the very first edition of the CFCN News hit the airwaves. Kevin Green takes a look at how that shaped the station you're watching and the city you're living in right now.
CFCN hit the airwaves on September 9th, 1960 with a 30-minute newscast and 2 movies. Built on the hill in southwest Calgary where it still sits today, CFCN's tower was the tallest structure in the city at the time.
You were in the middle of everything, you know? Anything important that was going on, it was either coming through the station or you were in on it.
In those early years, staff were learning as they went, often improvising with new equipment. For photographer Jim Smith, it was both stressful and exciting.
That's why I think it was one of the best times of my life. Things were going on, we were involved in important things.
Young staff had freedom to experiment, resulting in memorable programming. The Pro Band presents an example of that innovation.
It was a total experiment and total trust from management.
The polls are just closing for the 1977 Calgary civic election.
Daryl Jans, Ralph Klein, Wayne Bill, and Murray Dale, just some of the reporters covering the 1977 election for CFCN TV. Over the years, CFCN defined itself as the leader in news.
The trick was that we had all these really creative souls, you know, and they brought with them unique personalities, and they all blended and had, you know, I think there was a lot of respect, mutual respect among that group.
The station also made its mark in children's entertainment, producing Canada's longest-running show aimed at youngsters. For 3 decades, The Buckshot Show was a daily favorite for Calgary kids. CFCN's community connection was unmatched, especially during the Calgary Stampede, when the station set up its broadcast house on the Midway.
It was probably one of the most significant events that the station did on a year-to-year basis. And the people that came to see us was just unbelievable. Hundreds of thousands.
In 2005, CFCN rebranded as CTV Calgary, but the commitment to news and current affairs remains 6.5 decades after the station first took to the air. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
And Brian Voss, who you saw in that story, now maintains a public YouTube channel where he restores and posts many of those iconic programs from CFCN's past. We have a link to it on our website. Ballooning class sizes and inadequate funding are key issues for Alberta teachers. And a recent study from the Fraser Institute backs up the complaint that Alberta ranks last in K-12 spending per student out of all Canadian provinces.
We've really turned this studio where we're at into quite a mess, and it's taken a while to clean it up.
And later, getting in on the gore, a Calgary horror movie attempting to break the Guinness World Record with its body count. We'll explain. The province and teachers remain at odds as a deal appears far apart. Wage increases and classroom sizes are the top 2 priorities for teachers. The push for more funding comes as a recent study shows Alberta spent the lowest per student across Canada. Here's Tyler Barrow.
Kids have been back in class for a week, but a strike or lockout could upend their school routine. Teachers want raises and for classroom sizes to be reduced, while the province deals with a funding crunch.
We need government to come down and be serious about the conversations that we need to have that respects the work of teachers.
A recent study by the Fraser Institute report shows Alberta ranked last in K-12 spending per student across Canada during the 2022-23 school year, allocating just under $13,500 per student. The next lowest, Newfoundland and Labrador, spending almost $700 more.
We have been the least funded in terms of the amount of money that school boards have to spend on students for many, many years, almost a decade.
The provincial government told CTV it questions the think tank's methodology while it works to release its own numbers. But that doesn't change what the ATA says has become the norm, class sizes to be in the 30s and 40s. Nobody really knows the average because the province stopped tracking class sizes in 2019. Still, families say they are too big.
If there's too many kids in the class, the kids keep playing around. They are not listening in their class.
Without a doubt, they're bigger than when I was a kid, and I went to school in Calgary, so that's definitely a concern.
In response to the ongoing negotiations, the province says the deal on the table addresses classroom sizes by hiring 3,000 new teachers over the next 3 years, along with wage increases of 12% over 4 years.
What you see on the table is a proactive deal that respects teachers and respects class sizes and all the challenges we're facing as a province.
The UCP government recently announced a larger than expected $6.5 billion deficit. The ATA won't release its salary ask, saying it won't negotiate in public. Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Calgary.
The last possible day teachers could go on strike would be October 7th, and they would have to give 72 hours notice. Residents of a Southwest Calgary community fighting a residential development have won a reprieve.
It's been postponed to January, so just so you know.
Residents of Springbank Hill say a 42 luxury townhome development will overwhelm their community. They wanted a rezoning discussion to be delayed until after the municipal election because Ward 6 doesn't have a councillor since Richard Pootmans resigned. They failed to get a court injunction, but City Council has agreed to defer a public hearing.
For this file in particular, we need more time. The community needs more time, and the applicant needs more time.
The developer of Augusta Villas was at the council meeting too and agreed to the delay. The developer argues the proposal has a good outcome for the community with internal garages and visitor parking on site.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
Back to Danielle now for our 5-day forecast. A little bit of rain tonight, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. In some parts of the city, it's already happening. So it's isolated in nature, though. So some communities in the city will see a little bit of rainfall. Other communities will not. But you'll see it in the distance anyway. 24 degrees is the temperature in Calgary. And you know what? That's well above normal. 18 degrees is a normal daytime high for this time of year. So we're above normal. We'll continually decline a little bit each day as we go through the rest of this week. So enjoy the warmth while we have it. Check that out in Medicine Hat, 30 degrees and high 20s. Brooks, Drumheller, Lethbridge was in the high 20s earlier, but we have some rainfall moving through, and that's quickly dropping the temperature, as you can see here. We also have some thunderstorm activity. Really a lot going on. I'm going to zoom into a couple spots here. Now for Calgary, this one has since died out, especially since the last time we just talked about 10 minutes ago. So no more lightning with this one, and the rain is a little less intense, but we're looking at this pocket of rain tracking through parts of the city as we go through this next 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, further to the south, Nanton, you saw a little bit in the area, but now that has since quieted down. But there is a couple of cells tracking towards the Okotoks area. Now these cells are quieting down as well as they go, but you can expect a little bit of rain in the Okotoks area within this next 30 minutes as well. And just to the west of Lethbridge, that's a decent one moving through between Fort Macleod and Lethbridge, as you can see here, tracking towards Nobleford and just off to the east of there. This is a thunderstorm. It's a non-severe one, but it comes with a decent downpour and some lightning with that as well, and the winds picking up fast and the temperatures dropping quick. Okay, it will be quiet by 9 o'clock tonight. And then tomorrow, for the morning hours in the city, looking quiet. But later in the morning hours, you'll notice the cloud cover increasing because of this stateside low that will be pushing in. So the far south will see rainfall for the morning, as you can see here. And then that will track through really quick, though. It's a quick one. Then some thunderstorm development once again in the foothills, but it doesn't look like it will creep its way into Calgary. So Calgary looks like we're in the clear with regards to any sort of rainfall for tomorrow, but we'll get the clouds and a little wind here and there. Some smoke may peek in throughout the morning tomorrow and then start to clear out later in the day tomorrow. And then we're looking at getting to that low risk part of the air quality health index. Here's your Action Furnace 5-day forecast. 24 degrees tomorrow. The smoke really improving as we go late in the day, and it should just be some cloud cover at times and winds here and there. 25 degrees for Thursday. It's quiet, it's sunny, and then you can see that gradual cool down. Friday and Saturday, though, we're looking at some rainfall, 1 to 3 millimeters possible each day. Tara?
Thank you, Danielle. The Confluence, formerly known as Fort Calgary, opened up a new exhibit today focused on the history of the Northwest Mounted Police. It was 150 years ago that the first Mounties arrived at the confluence of the Bow and Elbow Rivers. It's being commemorated with artifacts, letters, and photos that tell the story of life here in the 1870s. The exhibit speaks of the hardships endured by those first officers who called Fort Calgary home. But the museum is also making sure that Indigenous voices are represented. This newly renovated exhibit tells the story of Indigenous peoples who've passed through the confluence for generations and how they were impacted by the arrival of the Mounties.
We really wanted to make sure that that part of the story, both before the Mounties got here and during and after the Mounties got here, we wanted to make sure that that was part of the full picture and the full perspective of the 150th anniversary.
The Confluence has a number of events being organized around Truth and Reconciliation Day, which is September 30th. It's inviting a number of First Nations to set up their teepees at the site, where Calgarians can then learn about why the confluence of the Bow and Elbow Rivers was such a coveted area. A local man is hoping for approval of a new drug that could buy him some time. The Alzheimer's treatment is available in the U.S. to slow the progression, so why not here? We'll take a look. And later, you better watch your step. The impressive attempt to break a Guinness World Record. An Airdrie man is calling on Ottawa to speed up the approval of a new Alzheimer's drug. He's living with the disease, and all he wants is more time with his family. The treatment is already approved in the U.S. and several other countries, but Health Canada is still reviewing the possible side effects, and he fears that time is running out. Mark Villani reports.
The little kids were the ones that were entertaining us.
Brian Bates fondly looks back at this photo, remembering the colleagues and kids he loved working with as a school bus driver. But earlier this year, the 71-year-old was forced to make his final stop.
Wasn't a surprise, but it was so abrupt that they just told me that I'm not driving anymore.
In March, Bates was diagnosed with early Alzheimer's and dementia. A former whiz with computers, his wife says he now struggles with even basic tasks.
Now he has difficulty using his own personal computer. Yeah, it was a bit of a shock.
But the Bates family is staying optimistic.
They're the first new drugs for Alzheimer's disease in more than 20 years.
2 new drugs called lecanemab and donanemab are given through monthly IV infusions. They work by removing amyloid plaques in the brain believed to cause dementia and Alzheimer's. Studies show lecanemab can slow cognitive decline by up to 27%, donanemab by 35% for some patients. Both drugs are approved in several countries, including the U.S., but Health Canada has not yet given the green light, citing potential side effects.
3% or 4% of patients have serious complications, like a seizure or a symptomatic stroke from these medications.
The annual cost is also high, nearly $27,000 for lecanemab and $32,000 US for donanemab. Health Canada received applications in 2023 and 2024 for both treatments. It says while the standard review timeline is 300 days, more complex submissions require additional data. We're conducting a review as efficiently as possible.
The fact that this drug is available across the world in so many countries makes you wonder if it's time.
Just to help all the people out there with Alzheimer's and dementia, just to give them a better life.
And for patients like Brian Bates, he hopes to make every moment count with the ones he loves.
Family is very, very important.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
An estimated 750,000 Canadians live with Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia. For more information on these treatments, you can visit our CTV Calgary website. If you love horror movies, the next best thing to watching one might be to die in one. Hundreds of people have the chance in Calgary right now. We'll explain. If you're not into horror movies, this next story might not be for you. The team behind a Calgary film is attempting to break a world record for the number of on-screen deaths. Alicia Fieldberg was on set today.
Today we're going to be killing everybody.
These actors have roles to die for. They've all signed up as movie murder victims in an attempt to break the Guinness World Record for highest slasher death count in a feature film.
Kill 27, take 2.
Until There Is One follows a group of people trying to survive a serial killer for the chance to win $1 million. It's written and directed by a Calgary actor.
We were curious, what's the Guinness Book of World Records for the most kills on a slasher movie? And we found that it was 155. And we're like, we can beat that. And funny enough, we're probably going to, by the time we're done, be at around 2,000 kills.
He's worked around the world on productions, but chose Calgary for this film. There was an open casting call for the crowd-funded film, which stars some prominent horror actors.
I've played some famous killers like Jason Voorhees. Yes, and I know how to kill, and I know the movements and the stunts.
He's in a bunch of movies that I'm obsessed with, so it was really cool to meet him in person and just see how humble he is.
This Calgarian's day job helped her prepare for her on-screen debut.
I'm a root canal specialist, so I see patients in pain all day long, and I do a lot of surgery, so I deal with blood and, just the gore of things.
Many other fans also jumped at the chance to be scared.
And not just be killed by their favorite celebrity, but they're also part of breaking the Guinness Book of World Record. And so it's a little bit like cinematic history.
Most of the victims don't even know how they'll go.
But I can do a good scream, so I'm ready. And I do like the gore of getting all bloody and running for your lives.
But killers aren't the concern for some first-timers.
Scary because I don't know what I would sound like or look like on camera.
Unlike the current record holder, The Summer of Massacre, this film will not rely on special effects.
It's all practical. So we've gone old school. We are shooting blood everywhere.
They're using every weapon in the toolbox to try and secure a new record and deliver thrills to audiences. Alicia Fieldberg, CTV News, Calgary.
Until There Is One is expected to be released in some theaters and on streaming services in spring of 2026. Do you guys like scary movies?
No.
Okay.
Sometimes they're too scary.
Maybe when I was younger a little bit more, I guess.
All right, well, it's not every day you see a balance and agility test quite like this. talk about taking parkour to a whole other level. So these athletes all took their turn trying to jump and then land on that pole in the water. Out of 9, only 1 stuck a perfect landing. A few more were able to hold on after a little bit of wobbling, which I think counts. I mean, as long as you don't fall in. 2 of them ended up in the drink.
I have a feeling I'd go and hit my head.
Yeah. Oh,
boom,
my goodness.
Or your
There's
shin.
such potential here for doing yourself damage.
Yeah.
Well, it's no use crying over spilt milk. This guy doesn't even cry over spilt beer, even if he spills it all over himself. Oh no, this is Oliver Strumpfel. He's a bartender in Germany. He was trying to break the beer mug carrying world record. This year he fell short. He was trying to carry 31 mugs. You saw him lose that first one, and he lost the record right there. And then a few more dropped out of the bottom. His concentration started to slip. His own record is 29.
Did all these people show up to watch him do
I think
this?
so.
And the good thing is, he could try again.
He's strong.
Right?
You drink your way through all the ones you have spilled, and then you try again.
Wah, wah.
Well, dozens of dogs hit the waves in Del Mar, California, all for a good cause.
13 years of doing this here. Never thought just me going out having fun with my dog would bring so much joy and fun to everyone else. Helps raise money.
Just look at this. These dogs made a splash at the annual Surf Dog Surf-a-thon. More than 50 dogs took part in the competition, with proceeds going to a local animal shelter. The winner was a dog named Faith.
You know, they all look very comfortable on
I think they've done this before. Yeah. If you're a California dog, you surf all the time.
You got it, right?
Yeah.
Born to surf.
Very cool. Donald Trump's tariff orders are now going to the Supreme Court. Details about the timing of the appeal that could have major implications on the Canadian economy.
All right, here's your Skywatch weather camera. And yes, depending on which way you look in the city and where you are in the city, you may be seeing a little bit of rain and some darker clouds in some communities, and some streets are doing okay through this. The winds, though, have picked up a little bit, and the temperatures are starting to drop off. So we did get a high of 26 earlier today. We're now down to 24, which is above normal. Normal is 18 degrees for this time of year. We will remain above normal temperature-wise for the rest of this week, but temperatures will slowly start to decline throughout the rest of this week, 1 or 2 degrees each day. Okay, so high 20s, Drumheller, Brooks, into the 30s for Medicine Hat. Wow, it's hot there. Okay, 26 degrees for Milk River, 22 in Lethbridge. We've had this little burst of rain push through Lethbridge, so it was closer to that 30 mark, but dropped fast temperature-wise as this rolled through. All of this is starting to weaken. You can expect there's the chance of showers and thunderstorm activity right up until 9 o'clock tonight, and then it should be quiet. Overnight tonight in the city, quiet. 13 degrees to kick off the day tomorrow, with mainly sunny skies and then clouds increasing late in the morning and throughout the afternoon, and a high of 24 in the city expected. That's your 24-hour forecast, brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free. Okay, a little dance around. 29 for Kamloops for tomorrow. It's quiet tomorrow in comparison today for the southern interior BC. Rocky Mountain House, there's a small chance of an isolated shower thunderstorm activity. And then we're looking at, again, this is the afternoon hours, but as we head further south in the morning and into the early afternoon, Milk River, Lethbridge, Medicine Hat up to Brooks, we have the chance of showers. Tara?
Thank you, Danielle. A proposal to build a massive data center northeast of Calgary is causing heated debate at a Rocky View Council hearing. Nearby residents worry it could impact property values and the health of people and animals. Supporters say the AI infrastructure is needed. Photo radar is coming back to a third Calgary intersection. The camera at 16th Avenue and 10th Street Northwest will be back in operation. And 4 names were added to the Firefighter Memorial at City Hall today. They died from cancers acquired through occupational exposure. The U.S. Supreme Court will decide the legality of Donald Trump's sweeping tariffs. The justices will fast-track the case, scheduling oral arguments for the first week of November. The appeal comes after lower court rulings found Trump overstepped when he invoked tariffs on imports from a long list of countries, including Canada. The Supreme Court has a 6-3 conservative majority. Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Edmonton for 3 days, meeting with his Liberal caucus ahead of the fall sitting of Parliament. A group of healthcare advocates is there too, calling on Ottawa to follow through on some of Justin Trudeau's promises.
What do we want? When do we want it? Now!
Friends of Medicare, the Canadian Health Coalition, healthcare workers and patients all rallied outside the downtown library near the caucus meeting today. They say they want the government to follow through on its promise of expanding the National Pharmacare program. Legislation for the program was passed in 2024, and deals have only been struck with Manitoba, BC, PEI, and Yukon Territory.
Because it's absolutely unfair that folks in Alberta or Saskatchewan don't have the same access to diabetes and contraceptive medications as folks in BC and Manitoba and PEI. It's a matter of fairness, and it's a matter of keeping their promises to voters.
Liberal MPs held several group discussions today focusing on women's issues, the economy, and Indigenous issues. Prime Minister Carney is expected to meet with Premier Daniel Smith tomorrow. Another major distribution warehouse is open north of Calgary. The grand opening of Pet Value's facility was held this morning in Rocky View County, northeast of Airdrie. Pet Value bills itself as Canada's leading specialty retailer of pet food and pet-related supplies. The distribution centre is 295,000 square feet in size, and it will serve 140 Prairie stores. It is the third largest pet specialty distribution centre in the nation, exceeded only by Pet Value facilities in the Toronto and Vancouver areas. Checking the markets now, the TSX Composite was up 35 points to 29,063. The Dow was up 196 to close at 45,711. The Canadian dollar traded down slightly, ending the day at 72.29 US. Crude oil was up 43 cents a barrel to close at 62.68. And Western Canadian Select was selling up 68 cents to 51.01. Apple hosted a product event launch today, and this update may make travel just a little bit easier.
Using a new simple gesture, live translation begins. Translating Spanish. While ANC
With AirPods Pro 3, live translation is available in English, French, German, Portuguese, and Spanish. 4 more languages are coming. Apple also unveiled a new slimmer iPhone Air model, as well as an iPhone 17, which will have a brighter, more scratch-resistant screen. There is now also a blood pressure monitor in its latest Apple Watch. The Flames have locked up their star goalie. Dustin Wolf signs a long-term deal to stay in Calgary. Glenn has those details for us next. 2 athletes from Central Alberta are now world champions. Dorian Llewellyn and Ryan Dodd both won medals at the World Water Ski Championships in Italy. Llewellyn won men's overall and placed second in men's jumps. Dodd won bronze in men's jump. He is the longest-serving member of Team Canada. The Calgary Flames traded in their hockey sticks for golf clubs today. Glenn is back with us. Glenn, no shortage of news stories today.
Tara, the Flames in town for their annual charity golf tournament, and the biggest news of the day will have Flames fans howling for a long time to come.
Thanks,
Dustin Wolf got plenty of hugs at the Flames charity golf tournament on Tuesday, and for good reason. The 24-year-old signed a new 7-year contract with a $7.75 million AAV. Wolf still has 1 year left on his old contract, so he's going to be in Calgary long term.
It's great. I'm excited. 8 more years here in the city, and I think there's a lot of exciting things coming from our team, from our staff, from our organization, from the new building coming in 2 summers, and there's a lot to look forward to here in Calgary, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Then here's his warm-up. Whoa!
Dustin Wolf is as good of a feel-good story as you'll ever have. Deemed too small, he wasn't drafted until the 7th round, 214th overall in the 2019 NHL entry draft. Wolf uses that as fuel.
I was the 4th last pick in the draft, and I've kind of always used size and the draft pick selection, and all that stuff is motivating factors. And again, they took another swing on giving me a chance to play a lot of hockey last year, and every time I step on the ice, I want to prove them right.
Flames general manager Craig Conroy says it was a no-brainer to lock up Wolf long-term. Last year, in his first full season with the Flames, he was 29-16-8 with a 2.64 goals against average. He recorded 3 shutouts and had a .906 save percentage. He's proved himself at every level.
I mean, he's really been showing us all along. And then last year to see him do it, you know, in the 53 games, it just kind of put a stamp that, hey, you know, and when you talk to Dustin, when you talk to him at the end of the season, he's like, I got another level. I can be better. You know, I know my game's not exactly where I want to be, which is exciting for us.
It's been a busy offseason for Conroy. Over the weekend, Connor Zeri signed. Before that, it was Matt Coronado, Mark Pospisil, and Kevin Ball.
It's great for the organization. I think it sends a good message to everybody. I mean, people want to be in Calgary, and they believe that we have a chance to win here.
The other big news from today, Rasmus Andersson spoke to the Calgary media for the first time since the season ended and set the record straight. Andersson has 1 year left on his contract, which has led to speculation the Flames will trade him because signing him long-term doesn't make a lot of sense with a lot of good young defensemen in the system. There were rumors that Andersson said he would only be willing to sign an extension with one club. He says that's just not true.
The thing that bothers you, right, is fake information that comes out. And, you know, I saw some reports that I would only sign in one team and this and that. I mean, it's the furthest from the truth ever. You know, me and Connie have had a few conversations over the summer, and I would never handcuff him and give him one team, if I put it like that.
He is one of the ultimate pros around, and Raz is going to come to work every day. And my hope, and maybe a portion of my belief, is that he's going to be here as well. So I think he understands what's at stake for himself. He understands where our team is, and he knows how important he is to our group, and that isn't going to change no matter what his contract situation looks like.
Andersson maintains he loves it here in Calgary, and he won't let contract talk be a distraction. Some bad news for the Calgary Stampeders. Forward Oromolade, one of the team's leaders on defense, is going to be out for a while. Oromolade was injured against the Edmonton Elks on Saturday night. Last night, head coach Dave Dickinson disclosed he'll be out for the balance of the season with an Achilles tear. It's a tough one for the Stampeders, who have certainly been hit with a long list of long-term injuries this season.
That's not a fast recovery, an Achilles tear. Yikes. All right, thank you, Glenn. Final peek at the weather, Danielle.
Yes, so keep in mind, temperatures will slowly decline each day. I mean, we are heading towards fall here, everybody, so this is going to happen. As you can see, though, we'll still be above normal. Normal is 18 for this time of year. And for tomorrow, it's just mainly some cloud cover, some winds picking up here and there, nothing crazy. Just a small risk of any sort of late day shower, stable for Thursday. And then Friday and Saturday, some rainfall, 1 to 3 millimeters possible each day. Weather window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors. Crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, Alberta's climate. Check this out. So this is Sunday night near Bragg Creek. Matt Melnick, obviously a famous photographer in our hood, in our area, right? And this one he took, and it's just stunning. I don't know how people get lightning on camera, but this is amazing. Thank you, Matt.
Great shot. And thanks for your company tonight. Have a terrific evening. We'll see you again tomorrow.